Yeah, they're just female.
Yeah. La Yashala.
La Yashala.
Rise and face the east. Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayim. Adash. Ayah. Shamkar. Yahweh. Malakoka. Taba'ah. Atzaka. Ayah. Aisha. Baratazah. Hawa. Ayah. Bashemayim. Atamnanawa. Lakam. Ka. Yawam. Wasalaknawa. Awabwafinawa. Wasalaknawa. Awabwafinawa. Wala'ah. Tabayanawa. Banasai 1. Abba. Awashinawa. Mayan. Right. Kaya. Laka. Amalakwa. Wa'ala. Wa'afaparith. La'awalamim. Aman.
And in the English.
Okay.
Hello. Alright. And in the English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth. As it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread. And forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not. Into temptation. But deliver us. From evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Forever. So be it.
And the prayer for the power of the Hakah. Yahweh. Hashem. Yahushai. Balakashah. Tamnanawa. Hakah. Larapa'ah. Kalmadawa. Hakah. Latahah. Amatazarayah. Hakah. Lahapir. Amafir. Hakah. Arakawa. Atama Allah. Lagarashan. Hashem. Yahushai. The water.
And in the English. Yahweh. In the name of Yahushai. Please give us the power. The power to heal. All manner of sickness. And all manner of disease. The power to cleanse the lepers. The power to raise the dead. The power against unclean spirits. To cast them out. In the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it.
The blessings. Pray for the blessings. Barakatah Yahweh. Wa Yahushai. Wa Mayaka Allah. Wa Alahayim. Matazabi'ah. Alawapyahana. Asaranya. Akatazianya. Akalalaya. Wa Akwafya. Yahweh. Hashem. Yahushai. Wa Aman.
And in the English. Bless you, Yahweh. And Yahushai. And Michael. And the angel. Commanding General Yohanan. The general. The captain. The officers. The troopers. And the sisters. Yahweh. In the name of Yahushai. Thank you. So be it.
Psalms 121. Asha Ayanya. Al-Harya. Ma'ayan. Yaba'ah. Isaiah, Ma'aim, Yahweh, Aisha, Shamayam, Wa'aratiza, Al-Yathan, Lamawat, Ragalka, Al-Yanawam, Shamaka, Anala'a, Yanawam, Wala'a, Yayashan, Shawama, Yasharala, Yahweh, Shamaka, Yahweh, Tazalka, Aliyad, Yamyamka, Yawamam, Ashamash, La'ayakayaka, Wayaraq, Bala Yala, Yahweh, Yashamaka, Makal Rai, Yashama, Afnapaska, Yahweh, Yashama, Taza Afka, Wabai Wa'aka, Ma'aitha, Wide I will
Amen. And in the English, I will lift up my eyes. Unto the hills. From whence cometh my help? Okay. My help cometh from Yahweh. Which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee. Will not slumber. Behold. He that keepeth Israel. Shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day. Nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee. From all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out. And thy coming in. From this time forth. And even forevermore. So be it.
Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim. Alda Mayalaka. Alda Karash. Wa'al Tashakwat. Al Kayahana. Awayabaka. Awayabaka. Awabika. Yahama Yawan. Ra'ash. Anaka. Ya'ayramwa. Sawada. Wayatha. Ya'aytazawa. Altazapawanyaka. Ashamawa. Lakawa. Wanyakakidam. Magawa. Wala'a. Yazaka. Shamya Sha'ala. Iwada. Kaya. Nawa Aitazawa. Laba. Yakadwa. Ayaka. Baryath. Yakawafwa. Ahala Ayat. Ahalya. Adawam. Wayashamai. Mawa'aba. Wagariam. Kabal. I'm a one. I'm a lot. Palishaf. I'm a Shabia. Has a wall. Gam Ashawal. Nalawa. Ayman. Ayawa. Zarawai. Labanya Lawa. Salah. Aishalaham. Kamadia. Kasaya Sarah. Kayabia. Banakal. Kwakwash. Kwayashwan. Nashamadwa. Ba'ayandara. Ayawa,
Ayawa,
Daman,
Daman,
La Adama,
Adama,
Shayathamwa,
Shayathamwa,
Nadab,
Nadab,
Yabmawa,
Yarmawa,
Kairab,
Kairab,
Wakazaba,
Wakazabak.
Wakazabak,
Wakazabak.
Wakatazamanai,
Wakatazamanai.
Kalasaya Kamwa,
Kansai Kanwa.
Aisha,
Aisha.
Amawa,
Amawa.
Nayarasha,
Nayarasha.
Lanawa,
Lanawa.
Ath, Na'awa,
Na'awak.
Alahaya,
Alahaya.
Alahaya,
Alahaya.
Shayathamwa,
Shayathanwa.
Kagalgala,
Kagalgala.
Kakwash,
Kakwash.
Lapanya Raka,
Lapanya Raka.
Kahash,
Kaash.
Taba Ira,
Tabaira.
Yara,
Tabai.
Yaira,
Yaira.
Wakalahaba,
Wakalahaba.
Talahat,
Talahat.
Ariyam,
Ariyam.
Khan,
Khan.
Taradatma,
Taradatma.
Basa Iraka,
Basa Arika.
Wabasa Wapathka,
Wabasa Wapathka.
Tabalaham,
Tabalaham.
Mala'a,
Mala'a.
Panyaham,
Panyaham.
Palawan,
Kwalawan.
Wayabakwashwa,
Wayabakwashwa.
Shankar,
Shankar.
Yahawa,
Yahaw.
Yabashwa,
Yabashwa.
Wayabaalwa,
Wayabaalwa.
Ida,
Ida.
Waya Kapawa,
Wayakapawa.
Waya Abadwa,
Wayabadwa.
Waya the Iwa,
Wayada,
Kaya Atha,
Kayatha,
Shankar,
Shankar,
Yahawa,
Yahawah,
Labadka,
Nabadka,
Ayawan,
Ayawan,
Alka Arataza,
Alkaha, Arataza, Aman. And in the English, keep not thou silence, O Yahweh.
Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be not still,
And be not still,
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh.
For lo,
For lo,
thine enemies make a tumult,
thine enemies make a tumult,
and they that hate thee
and they that hate thee
have lifted up the head.
have lifted up the head.
They have taken crafty counsel
They have taken crafty counsel
against thy people,
against thy people,
and consulted against
and consulted against
thy hidden ones.
thy hidden ones.
They have said,
They have said,
Come,
Come,
and let us cut them off
and let us cut them off
from being a nation,
from being a nation,
that the name of
that
Israel
the name of Israel
may be no more in remembrance.
may be no more in remembrance.
For they have consulted together
For they have consulted together
with one consent.
with one consent.
They are confederate against thee,
They are confederate against thee,
the tabernacles of Edom,
the tabernacles of Edom,
and the
and
Ishmaelites
the Ishmaelites
of Moab,
of Moab,
and the Hagarenes,
and the Hagarenes,
Gabal,
Gabal,
and Ammon,
and Ammon,
and Amalek,
and Amalek,
the Philistines,
Philistines,
with the inhabitants of
with the
Tyre.
inhabitants of Tyre.
Asher also is joined with them.
Asher also is joined with them.
They have hope in the children of
They have
Lot.
hope in the children of Lot.
Salah.
Salah,
Do unto them
do unto them
as unto the
as
Midianites,
unto the Midianites,
as to Sisera,
as to Sisera,
as to Jabin,
as to Jabin,
at the brook of
at
Kisa,
the brook of Kisa,
which perished the Endor.
which perished the Endor.
They became as dung for the earth.
They became as dung for the earth.
Make their nobles like Horeb,
Make their nobles like Horeb,
and like Zair.
and like Zair.
Yea,
Yea,
all their princes as Zabah,
all their princes as Zabah,
and as
and
Zalmunna,
as Zalmunna,
who said,
who said,
Let us take to ourselves
let us say to ourselves,
the houses of the Most High,
the houses of the Most High,
in possession.
in possession.
O my power,
O my power,
make them like a wheel,
make them like a wheel,
as a stubble before the wind,
as a snow before the wind,
as a fire burneth for wood,
as a fire burning for wood,
and as the flame
and as the flame
setteth the mountains on fire.
sets the mountains on fire.
So persecute them
So persecute them
with thy
with
tempest,
thy tempest,
and make them
and
afraid
make them afraid
with thy storm.
with thy storms.
Fill their faces with shame,
Fill their faces with shame,
that they may seek thy name,
that they may seek thy
O
name. O
Yahweh.
Yahweh,
Let them be confounded
let them be confounded
and troubled forever.
and troubled forever.
Yea,
Yea,
let them be put to shame
let them be put to shame
and perish,
and perish,
that men may know
that men may know
that thou,
that thou,
whose name
whose
alone
name alone
is Yahweh,
is Yahweh,
art the Most High
are the Most High
over all the earth.
over all the earth.
So be it.
So be it.
The blessings.
And the curses Blessed are you, Yahweh.
Blessed are you, Yahweh.
King of heaven and earth.
King of heaven and earth.
And all things living.
And all things living.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh.
Listen to us now.
Listen to us now.
Right now.
Right now.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
And punishments and destruction.
And punishments and destruction.
To the heathen.
To the heathen.
That speak against us.
Speak against us.
Thy prophets.
Thy prophets.
The teachers.
The teachers.
The princes.
The princes.
The priests.
The priests.
The Israelite brothers.
The Israelite brothers.
And the school.
And the school.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
And punishments and destruction.
And punishment and destruction.
To the heathen.
To the heathen.
And shake loose.
And shake loose.
The treasure of the rich of Israel.
The treasure of the rich of Israel.
That refuse.
To
give to the school.
To give to the school.
Force their riches.
Force their riches.
To enter into thy sanctuary.
To enter into thy sanctuary.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
And punishments and destruction.
And punishment and destruction.
To the Edomites.
To the Edomites.
And the nation.
And the nation.
And their drug dealers.
And their drug dealers.
The court system.
The court system.
The prison system.
The prison system.
Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood.
All the governments of our enemies.
All the governments of our enemies.
Amalek synagogues and armies.
Amalek synagogues and armies.
Roman Catholic Church.
Roman Catholic Church.
The Pope.
The Pope.
Islam. Christianity. Egyptology. Militia. Ku Klux Klan. Aryan Nation.
Skinheads.
Pastor the gay movement. The lesbian movement. Spies. Workers of witchcraft. NASA space program. Army. Navy. Air Force. Marine. Wall Street. Open up the internet. And the airwaves. The cable access channel. And the radio channel. Convict the spirit. Of any of thy people. That seek to stop us. And bring swift destruction. To all the heathen. That stand in the way. Or try to stop us. From broadcasting your word. Throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the plagues. Call them to go to and fro. Through the earth. And consume them. Let the plague shake. The house of the thief. And the murderer. Let Yahweh shine. Michael and Gabriel. Come down with the flying saucers. And punish all the heathen. That come up against us. As we speak thy word. Cause it to be known by all. That is the angels that have done it. Cause it to be spread through the media. Throughout the whole world. Cause them to shake at thy coming. In the name of Yahweh. Thank you always. So be it. With that, you see it. That's the day. Alright then, so we'll pick up when we left off. It was Deuteronomy 15 and 1 about Jubilee.
Book of Deuteronomy chapter 15 and verse 1. Makwatazah, Shabai, Shanayam,
I'll back up.
Shanyam, Tha'aisha, Shema Taha, Wazah, Dabar, Hasha, Mata, Shamawat, Kal, Ba'ila, Mashab, Yadawa, Ashab, Yashab, Bara I Hawa, La'a, Yagasha, Atha, Ra'ai Hawa, Wa'ath, Aika Yawa, Kaya, Quara. Shema. Shemata. I'm in verse 2, towards the end of verse 2. The last word in verse 2. La Hawa. La Yahweh. Af. Hana Karaya. Thigasha. Wa'asha. Yahweh. Lakar. Af. Akar. Yakar. Akayakar. Thasha Matab. Yadikar or Yadak. Apasa. Kaya. La'a. Yahweh. Bakar. Abba Yawan. Kaya. Barak. Yabara Yabarakaka or Yabarakak. Yahweh. Ba'a Ratza. Asha. Yahweh. Alahayaka. Nathan. Lakar. Nakar Laha or La. Nakala. Lara Shah. Larasha Tha. Rakwa. Am or Amam. Shema Wa'ai. Thasha Ma'ai. Bakwa Wala. Yahweh. Alahayaka. Lasha Mara. Or Lashama. La'ai Shawath. Ath. Kala. Hamatazawa. Hazar. Athar. Ashar. Anakaya. Mataza Wakar. Hayawam. Kaya. Yahweh. Alahayaka. Bara Kakar. Kasha. Debar. Lakar. Waha I Batat. Gawa Yam. Rabah Yam. Wa'atha La'a. Thai Batar. Wama Shah Latha. Bagawa Yam. Rabah Yam. Wabakar. La'a. Yama Shalawa. Verse 7. Kaya. Yahweh. Bakar. Abayawan. Ma'akar. Akar. Yakar. Akayakar. Ba'akad. Sha'ai Ra Yakar. Ba'aratazak. Athar. Asham. Yahweh. Alahayaka. Ben Nakan. Nakan. It's like a Nathan. Khan. Laka. La'a. Tha'a Matazar. Ath. The Ba Bakar. Wala'a. Hakwa Batazar. Hakwa Patazar. Thakwa Patazar. Athar or Ath. Yadaka. Ma'a the Yak. Ha'a Baya Haya Ha'a Bayawan.
So, alright, let's read it and we'll break it down, alright?
Come. Alright, Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 1. At the end of every 7 years, thou shalt make a release.
So, meaning, in our land, we had a law of the year of release. So, every 7 years, there was a law where you had to release things, meaning things that belong to someone else. And because they was in debt to you, you had to hold on to it till that debt was paid. And if the debt wasn't paid, then there was a time frame where you had to release it anyway. And why is this law in place? So that we don't oppress each other, man. That yes, this person done wrong. Yes, this person is in debt to you, but there comes a time when this person has to be relieved of that debt, man. Because leave it to us, you'll be in debt forever, man.
That's right.
And then now you're gonna have kids, and your kids are gonna oppress his kids. Why? Because they can't pay off that debt. And you know how black people are. Especially us, Benjamin, we don't let shit go.
Right.
And remember, your dad did this, my dad, and that's what your dad did. And you'll be just always have it in your face.
Right.
So there's a law in place where you couldn't have it in their face even if you wanted to.
Right.
Read up.
7 years gone. Verse 2. And this is the manner of the release.
So this is the manner of the release, meaning this is how you execute this year of release, meaning this is how you do it. Read on.
Creditor, every creditor that lendeth out unto his neighbor shall release it.
So meaning every creditor, meaning a creditor is someone that gives, and the person that receives it, he's the lender. He's lending it off the creditor. That's where you got a credit card, meaning someone is giving you this, and you being a lender, you're going to have to pay it back, man.
Right.
Hence where the term a credit card comes from, meaning this is accredited unto you, meaning you don't have it, I'm giving it to you, but I do want it back. So likewise, in our nation, you went to people, you know what I mean? You probably thought, you're going to open the best farm, and you go to a man, listen, man, I need, 100 pounds of gold to, for the wood and the sheep. And it might not have worked out. And now you're in debt to this man because, of course, the man wants his money.
Right.
You know what I mean? Why? Because you lent it off him, hence why he wants it back. And if you can't afford it, then what? You was in bondage to that person, man. Read on.
God. He shall not accept it, he shall not exact it of his neighbor.
So meaning you can't oppress it. The word exact, if you look it up, it means to oppress. Meaning you can't oppress this man because you want the money back. When it's the year of Jubilee, it's gone. Whatever you was able to get out of him in those 6 years, let that be that, man.
Right.
But you can't oppress him, meaning anything after the year of Jubilee, that's oppression, man.
God.
I mean, you knocking on his door, listen, man, man, 60 bits gold short, man.
Right.
I want it by next week, or me and a Kamalak. We're gonna come and knock your head up, you know what I mean? We're gonna do it. That is oppression. And the Bible's saying when the year of Jubilee happens, that is it. You can't be oppressing nobody. Read on.
Right. God. Not he shall not exact it of his neighbor or of his brother, because it is called the Lord's release.
And there it's called the Lord's release, meaning the Lord wants this person released, man.
Right.
It's not just a law that we had. This is what the Lord wants, so that we don't hate each other.
Right.
Imagine you as a young boy saw your dad in bondage to a brother all those years, man. You were going to hate him. You'd be like, you're the reason why I never had a life or a business of my own, because my dad spent his whole life paying you off, man.
Right.
And you know what I mean? And that can cause hate, man. That can cause murders and all things that we shouldn't do.
Right.
So to prevent it, there's a time where everything gets released, man. Every lender is free from what he took off someone, you know what I mean? Read on it.
God. Verse 3. Of a foreigner, thou mayest exact it again.
So meaning of a foreigner, now in this context, a foreigner is a non-Israelite.
Right.
So meaning this year of Jubilee applies to Israelites.
God.
And if you're not an Israelite, then it don't apply to you. Meaning, even after that time frame, you can oppress him, you can exact him, you can squeeze this heathen till you get all your diamonds and gold up him, man.
That's
You know what I mean? Every cattle or whatever was lent to him. Listen, man, you can oppress him till you get it.
Right.
Reader.
And so like I don't know if I made that's like the way how they've got their system set up now is they exacting of us, they squeezing the living daylights out of us financially and all the rest of it. They're doing what we should be doing to them, basically. You know what I mean? To us, innit?
Absolutely. And I'll give you a fact, and you can look this up. If a black person takes a loan from a bank, the interest rate is higher. Even, you know what I mean? Everything higher. And now there could be a white person on benefits. They could take out the same loan as you, and the interest rates are lower.
That's
Meaning what? They love their own.
That's right.
They are exacting us. They're oppressing us. Meanwhile, their own, like, you know what? We know we ain't got the money, but we'll be lenient with it.
Right.
So, like what you said, you know what I mean? That happens right now. Reader.
Okay. But that which is but that which is thine, with thy brother, thine hand shall release.
There, so what you're holding onto of your brothers, you got to release that now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Anything you're holding just to, as like a down payment that he'll pay the rest, you got to release it, man. You can't hold on to it. And again, this is brotherhood right here.
Right.
This stops, you know what I mean, hating each other, animosity among families. Why? Because one is in debt to another all his life, man.
Right.
And there's some debts you can't pay off, man. It's why even in England you got IVAs, meaning the last 6 years and you pay what you can, and that's it.
Right.
Even then, stand up. Listen, like that money there, you're not gonna get all of it. That's facts.
Yes.
So what we can do for you, you have 6 years of a payment, and then to hurt him, you can't ever have a credit card. You can never take out a loan. So that, listen, is that enough?
Right.
And then they approve and go, okay, then fine. So we'll take what I can pay for 6 years, and then that's it. Even in the British Empire, they understand there's some debts you just can't pay. You just can't do it. You mean, or if you file that you're bankrupt, you're admitting that, listen, I can't pay all this. So, you know what I mean, through this bankruptcy agreement, I'll pay so much and I'll be financially hurt, but we can end it there.
Right.
And those things come from the Bible. That after a while, you just can't do it. And that's why even an IVA is 6 years, because on the 7th year, it's the year of release. Even in England, you look up an IVA, it lasts 6 years and no more. You can look it up. Why? Because that comes from the Bible.
That's right.
Reader.
God. Verse 4. Save when there shall be no poor among you.
So now the Lord's saying this can stop when there's no poor among you. Now this is a sarcastic thing, because the next verse is going to explain. Reader.
God. For the Lord shall greatly bless thee in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it.
Read on, Lord. That the 7 verses.
Slaki, that's right. That's verse 5 now.
Verse 5, no swear.
God, read on.
Yeah, read on.
God, only if thou carefully hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
There, so now this Jubilee is after the Lord thy God. It's saying, listen, like, you know what I mean? I know you don't want to do it, but do it for me, man.
Right.
It's what I want. Because if it's left to us, we would never do it, man.
Right.
We would have someone paying us something for 30 years, if we could. But the Lord has to intervene and go, listen, I'm calling for a Jubilee, man.
Right.
I'm calling for a time where anyone who's in debt, they're free, man.
Right.
But if left to you and left to us,
Right.
we would want every penny back, man. You want every piece of gold, you know what I mean? You're not going to let nothing go. And, you know, the Lord being merciful had to intervene and go, listen, when it's the year of Jubilee, everyone's free, man.
That's right.
No one's going to be oppressing no one all their life. Reader.
God, to observe, to do all these commandments, which I command thee this day. Verse 6, for the Lord thy God blesseth thee, as he promised thee, and thou shalt lend unto many nations, but thou shalt not borrow.
So meaning, if we apply this Jubilee, it will enrich us.
That's
It will enrich us
right.
to where we'll be at a point where we can lend to many nations and we won't borrow off them, man. Meaning, to let someone free of the debt, it benefits you. It improves your community financially.
That's right.
Why? Because if someone's in debt, then what? The economy goes down. Man.
Right.
And you know how it goes. There's some rich people and they lend to many people.
Right.
And what? All of them are in debt to one man. And then what? This one man's getting all the money. It's like now, do you want to know a fact? In the world, 3% own all the wealth. So meaning, on this earth, 3% are rich and everyone else is in debt to them, man. Amazon, all these companies owned by billionaires, we are in debt to them. You know what I mean? The people that own the world banks, all these countries are in debt to them.
Right.
And what? The economy goes down, everyone isn't rich. Meanwhile, if we apply the Jubilee, everyone's rich, man.
That's right.
Everyone has their own. And what? When it comes to business, things can get done. Why? Because we all got money. You know what I mean? We can live better and not have to rob and cheat and steal. Why? Because all of us got the money.
Right.
While as if everyone's in debt to one rich family, the house of, you know, a Canuck, Howard, you know what I mean? I'm saying, then the economy goes down because he's got all the money.
Right.
It's saying, listen, if we do this, we're gonna lend to many nations.
Right.
We're gonna put the Ammonites in debt, man. They're gonna come to us. We got a war, but we ain't got enough money to, you know what I mean,
Fund it.
to fund any body armor. Like, here, man, take this 100 talents of gold, man.
Right.
And when the war's done, I want 300 talents. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's how it's gonna be. Why? Because we got money.
Right.
You can't do it no other way, man. Reader.
And so, like I don't, if I may,
Go ahead.
I think we just read it in verse 4. I'm just looking at it. It says, save when there shall be no poor among you, for the Lord shall greatly bless thee. And what he just said is, this is how we're going to be blessed. And this is how the nations stay above us when they exact of us, but then we can't exact from them. So obviously they stay rich and keep us exacting from the poor always. So we're always going to be, you know what I mean, kept down, innit?
That's
So,
right.
and they're going to be up. So,
And that's right. And also too, it's just a common sense. If we need to get richer, then we need money to be coming in from the outside.
Right.
Of course, if one of us have £100, then that £100 is going to be circulating around. No new money comes into place.
Right.
But if you're exacting another nation, you're getting richer.
That's right.
You got your money and his.
God.
And the Lord's saying, listen, if we just release and, you know what I mean, we just get rich among each other, then guess what? The other nations, they're going to need some money.
Right.
Why? Because other nations oppress each other now. Although they love each other via race, when it comes to wealth, they oppress each other,
Right.
and the Lord doesn't want us to be like them.
That's right.
And if we apply this, listen, many nations are gonna come to us begging for money, like, please, man, I got a war going on. I mean, there was a famine, and we gotta build this new dam. And I mean, they're gonna come to you bawling, showing you the maps. See, so we do all that. We got the architecture like this, like, oh really? That's like 600 tons of gold, you know?
Right.
Yeah, man. I can do that for you, but I'm gonna need it double, man.
Right.
Yeah. And guess what? Your nation has more money. You lent 6, and you got 1,200, man.
Right.
It's how it works. But it can only happen if we love each other.
Right.
Reader.
That's right. God. And thou shalt reign over many nations.
And let that be a lesson. How do we reign over many nations? By being richer than them, man.
That's right.
By having a brotherhood, and by economically having what they don't have.
Right.
Just like now, England rules over us. Why? Because they got the money. I mean, if England never had the money, no one wouldn't care. Everyone's rushing to go to England because England has the money.
Right.
And economy is power. Finances is power.
That's right.
And the British Empire has power, man, because they got money. You got Africans, and guess what? Africa is a resourceful land. It's not the motherland, but it's a resourceful land.
Right.
But they don't have the money. And that's what it comes down to. You know what I mean? I don't know if you interact. There was a group called The Lux. What's one of their famous songs? Money, power, and respect, man. I mean, even they knew money brings power and respect.
Right.
And listen, we serve the Lord and we release and let things go. We are going to have money, power, and respect, man.
That's right.
Reader.
And Salaki, I don't know me as well. And the Bible says what money answereth all things. So money is important. The love of money is the root to all evil, but money itself answereth, right? What we're saying here, doesn't it? You know what I mean?
Absolutely, because you got the left-hand side where some people go, well, if I serve God, I don't need money, and yes, you do, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a balance. You serve the Lord, but remember, the Bible is a practical book. And if you know what I mean, you apply it right, you understand you need the Lord, and you also need to get a job.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yes, you need the Lord, and it makes sense. If you get educated, you might get a better paying job.
Right.
It's common sense, and sometimes it's sad that you gotta teach someone that, man. It should be normal. Yes, you can serve the Lord, keep the commandments, and go to college,
Right.
and go to uni,
Okay.
and make sure you got some money that can answer things, man.
That's right.
You got money that can answer that electric bill, man.
That's right.
You got money that can pay the insurance on the car, man.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes it's sad that you gotta break it down to someone, and really, it should be common sense. You know what I mean? Reader.
God. It's lucky. And thou shalt reign over many nations, but they shall not reign over thee.
And there, because we're financially fit, we're gonna reign over nations, and they won't reign over us, man.
Right.
You mean why? Because we love each other, we don't oppress each other. All of us are rich, and then with the economy, the wealth, the tithes that we got, guess what? We're gonna lend to many nations, and we wouldn't need to lend nothing of them, man.
Right.
We're gonna reign over many nations, and no nation is gonna be reigning over us, man.
That's right.
And if we serve the Lord, that is power right there, man.
Right.
That is wealth right there. That is the real answer that we need, man. Instead of being comfortable going to an Indian man's shop, man.
Right.
He's reigning over you. You're in his shop buying ackee, man. You know what I mean? When he don't eat ackee, no Indian dish involves ackee. No Indian dish involves yam. That they don't know what to do with it.
Right.
But right now they're reigning over us, man. Read that.
Verse 7, last verse. Come. If there be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren within any of thy gates in thy land, which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not harden thine heart, nor shut thine hand from thy poor brother.
And listen, so even besides the Jubilee, the Lord is even taking it further.
Right.
If you see a brother who's poor, just give him anyway, man.
Right.
Don't harden your heart, meaning, you know what I mean? I gotta give him money again. You know what I mean? Don't in your mind make a reason why you should not give him the money. Don't harden your heart. Listen, man, give him, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? Don't you want him to be just like you? You know what I mean? Trust me, man, when you don't have, it hurts, man. When you know what you want and there's nothing you can do to get it, that hurts, man.
Right.
And think about it, man. Stop being selfish. Which is what so many of these brotherhood laws are about. It's about being selfless, man.
Right.
It's about caring about someone else, man. It can't be all about you, man. Well, you know what I mean? I will give him, but you know what I mean? I really want that 10, man. Just in case something happens, you know what I mean? And making every excuse you can. Well, listen, man, just give him, man. You know what I mean? Think about what he doesn't have,
Right.
and let him have it. We'll tell it.
That was the end of it. Yeah.
Ain't no sweat, right? Where's we at? Deuteronomy 15 and 8.
15 verse 7. 7 verses.
I know, I mean,
Oh, Khan,
Hebrew
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
from
right.
verse 8.
Should I read the Hebrews?
Yeah, Khan, yeah, it's
Oh,
It's like it's up on myself.
No, yeah, yourself, you can
Come on.
break it down.
Verse 8. Kaya Pethak the Pethak Ath Yadika Lawa Waha I Bata Thai Baya Tanawa Daya Meka Sarawa Asha Yakasa Lawa Hashma Laka Pan Yahweh. It's like a Yahya or Yahya. The bar Aima or Aim Laba Bakar Bala Ya'ila Bala Ya'il La Ama Quara Baha Quaraba Shanatha Hashabai Shanath Hashamata Waraiha Ayanak Ba'aka Yakar Ha'a Baya Wana Wala'a Thathan Lawa Wakwa Ra'a Ila Yakar Allah Yahweh Wahaya Bakar Kata'a. It's Kata'a. Kata'a. Nathawan. Thathan. Lawa. Wala'a. Yara'ai. Laba Bakar. Batha Thakar. Lawa. Kaya. Baga Lala. Hada Hadaba Hazar Yaba Rakak Yahweh Alahayaka Babal Bakal Ma'aishakar Wabakal Mashalak Yadaka Baya la'a, yaka, dala, aba, yawan, makwa, rab, ha'arazza, ila, or isle, kan, anakiya, matazawak, la'a, mara, or la'ma, pashak, pathak, pathak, ath, yadak, la'a, la'aka, yaka, la'ai, nayak, wala, wala'a, baya, nakar, ba'aratazak, kaya, yama, kara, laka, akayaka, ha'ai baraya, awa, ha'ai bara waha,
Yeah.
come, it's like it. Ha'ai baraya, wa'ai badak, shashab, shanayam, waba shana, hashab ya'aifa, thisha laka nawa, hapa shaya, ma'ai makar, what sorry, kapasha, ma'ai makar, wakaya, thisha laka nawa, kapasha, ma'ai makar, la'a, thisha laka nawa, riya rayakwam, sha'ai nakwa, tha'ai nakwa, tha'ai nayakwa, lawa, mataza anak, wama gara nakar, wama yakwa bakar, asha barak kakak, barak kakak, and toward the end of verse 14. Coming. Yahweh, al-hayka, Thathan, Lawa.
Read on.
In the English, yeah.
Deuteronomy 15, verse 8. But thou shalt open thine hand wide unto him, and shalt surely lend him sufficient for his need.
And that's the key word, meaning if someone is asking you, you give them sufficient.
Right.
You didn't say you give them all your money. You didn't say you take out loans for them. You just said, listen, like if someone's poor, you give them enough for their need. So there's a homeless, a brother, you give him enough for his need.
Right.
To take him Burger King. You know what I mean? That's what he needs. That's what he got. It's not saying you gotta buy him, you know what I mean, a new house on the hill and a car. It's saying that basically just what he needs.
Right.
Just give him that. Read on.
So like the other one, I had someone come to me, a brother, I believe, and asking me for some money this last week, and a pound or whatever. I said, all right, I'll buy you a sandwich. I want something to eat. Right, he's gonna go and get something. I said, I'll buy you a sandwich. He got off.
He didn't want the sandwich. He wants the money.
He wants the money. So I don't, I know his habit, but I don't fund those habits. You know what I mean? So I was gonna give him a sandwich. You know what I mean? Makes sense.
No, I agree. I've done that one time as well. I was around and there was a brother. I kind of knew, but I was like, well, okay, you know what I mean? If you're hungry, you know what I mean, there's the shop. I'll buy you whatever you like. So I'm walking in the shop. He's not like, I'm walking. I look behind me, stand there like, yo, yeah, man. It's like, nah, I'm fine.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And then I could tell that really he wanted the money for something else. But
That's right.
you know what I mean? You was gonna give him sufficient for a need, but the truth is that wasn't his need.
That's right.
He thought, man.
God.
Read on.
God, in that which he wanteth, verse 9, beware that there be not a thought in thy wicked heart, saying, the 7th year, the year of release, is at hand, and thine eye be evil against thy poor brother.
So meaning, his poor, you could help him, but listen, the year of Jubilee is 6 months away, man.
Right.
You mean, why am I giving him this now? If you give it 6 months, whatever, he had to do, whatever he lost, he'll get it back.
Right.
Lord's saying, be careful of that, man. Don't let that come in your mind. Why? Because if one person gets it in their mind, no one's going to help nobody.
Right.
You know what I mean? It could be year one of the Jubilee. Someone like, well, you got 5 years, man. You know what I mean? Just hang in there. When that's not the Lord saying, listen, help him. You know what I mean? Read on.
And thou givest him, let me go from here. That be careful that thine eyes be, and thine eye be evil against thy poor brother, and thou givest him not, and he cry unto the Lord against thee, and it be sin unto thee.
There, it's a sin, man.
Right.
You mean that poor man's like, he was meant to help me and he never. That the Lord hears the prayers of the poor,
right,
which is in the book of Psalms, and saying, listen, when I receive that prayer, that's a sin unto you, man. I'm going to pay you back for not helping out this poor brother.
Right.
Reader.
God, verse 10. Thou shalt surely give him, and thine heart shall not be grieved.
So meaning, even when you give him the money, don't be grieved. Like, take this man, piss off. Say, listen, you just give him,
right,
and don't even be vexed about it.
Right.
Just make him have it, man. Reader.
God. When thou givest unto him, because that for this thing the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all thy works.
And there, in helping the poor, the Lord's going to bless you, man.
Right.
The Lord, this is something about life you're going to learn. People that always want money, they never get money. And people that don't want money, they get the money.
Right.
It's people that are willing to lend and help, they get the money. And someone who's tight, I'm not helping him, you never get the money.
Right.
And this is the Bible, man. Because you don't want to help no one, the Lord don't help you.
Right.
And someone who, it's like money isn't an issue to them. They have all the money.
Right.
Why? Because the Lord blesses them. Why? Because they're willing to give. Read on.
Because that for this thing the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all thy works, and in all that thou puttest thine hand unto.
So meaning whatever you want to do, the Lord would bless it, man. Any business venture, anything you want to do, basically, the Lord will make it work for you.
Right.
Read on.
God. For the poor, for the poor shall never cease out of the land. Therefore I command thee, saying, thou shalt open thine hand wide unto thy brother.
Okay, so remember in the verses up above, so that the year of Jubilee seducts when there's no more poor. Well, that's sarcastic because verse 11 saying, listen, the poor will never cease out of the land. So meaning that Jubilee, you're always going to do it.
Right.
Don't have it in your mind that, one day we can stop the poor. People get poor every day, man.
Right.
There's people that have it all and lose it tomorrow, man.
Right.
There's people that gamble too much and they had it and now they've lost it, man. You know, years ago, you know, I was like 6. When I used to, you know, go shops, there was a homeless man, and well, I don't know if it's true or not, but the rumor is he was rich, and he got reduced to being homeless. So you know, the poor, you can be rich today, poor tomorrow.
That's
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Come. To thy poor, to thy poor and to thy needy in thy land. Verse 12. And if thy brother an Hebrew man or an Hebrew woman,
and that lets you know who your brother is, man.
That's right.
So is there ever a precept that you want? Deuteronomy 15 and 12, it lets you know who your brother is, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? So now it's going to explain what happens to us if we get sold to each other for the context of death. Reader.
Come, Hebrew man or Hebrew woman, be sold unto thee.
So now this person's sold unto you, so they ain't got no money. Do you know what I mean? They've lent off you, they can't pay you back. So then they get sold unto you, meaning they gotta work on your farm, they gotta, you know, just work for you, just whatever they can do. Right. It's like in restaurants, if you can't pay the bill, what does it make you do? Wash the plates. You know what I mean? You ain't got the money, but you gotta work off this bill. You know what I mean? So you gotta do something, and it's like the same.
That's right.
This person physically cannot pay off that debt, so they're sold onto you so that they can physically pay off this debt. Reader.
And so like if I may add one as well, like we sold ourselves unto sin as a nation, and therefore we sold ourselves into the hand of the oppressors also, in that context, innit?
Absolutely.
Come on. All right. It's like it. Be sold unto thee, if a Hebrew man or woman be sold unto thee, and serve thee 6 years, then in the 7th year thou shalt let him go free from thee.
There you go. So in the year of Jubilee, let him go, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's physically paid off as much as he could. He has to go home now. He's got a family, he's got a wife and kids, you know what I mean? And then, to show you how brotherly the Lord is, the next verse is going to explain what you also do after you let him go.
Verse 13. And when thou sendest him out from thee, thou shalt not let him go away empty.
There, so after those 6 years, it's not like, okay, done, bye. You even make him go with something, man.
Right.
Go with some money, go with some new garments, man. You know what I mean? Do something. For what? Those 6 years he worked for you.
Right.
To try his best to be a brother and to give you something back of what you lost.
Right.
Reader.
Come. Verse 14. Thou shalt furnish him liberally out of thy flock. Come. And out of thy floor, and out of thy winepress, of that wherewith the Lord thy God has blessed thee, thou shalt give unto him.
There you go. And listen, man, you don't make him go empty-handed.
Right.
You give him a sheep, man.
Right.
You give him some of your winepress, meaning, you mean some of the a produce of your wine, man.
Right.
You mean, and you give him of your flour, so some wheat, barley,
Right.
meaning that what? He can go and provide for his family, man.
Right.
One sheep mates with another. You got two, man.
Right.
Meaning you give him something that what? He can provide for himself, and Lord allow, he never gets in debt again, man. Meaning that 6 years is meant to be a punishment, but he's not meant to do it again afterwards.
Right.
He's done it, but now he's got something to provide for himself, and that what? He never ends up in debt ever again.
Right.
That's how brotherly we are as a nation, man. That's how brotherly the Lord wanted us. Any more?
Okay, I was just gonna say, like when Jacob, when Jacob left Laban and he got sheep and stuff to, you know what I mean, bring with him as well, innit?
Yeah, why? Because if someone works for you and they just go home empty-handed, then they're gonna have to work for you again because they ain't got nothing.
Right.
Basically, you made someone work for you and just dash them out in the world. Nah. You make sure, listen, you work for me, but listen now, provide for yourself now, man.
Right.
Don't ever have to work for no one ever again. It shows you how evil the white man is.
Yeah, that's like,
You get locked up and just leave.
mm-hmm.
You leave Winston Green HMP.
Mm-hmm.
You leave Manchester HMP with nothing.
Mm.
So what are you going to do?
Right.
That don't make sense.
Right.
They don't leave you with like 100 grand and go, okay, so now this is your money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, start up a business, or you know what I mean, do what you gotta do. You get sentenced, locked up, and when you've done it, you just come back with nothing.
Right.
Which means what? 10 times out of 10, you're gonna get locked up again.
Right.
Because you ain't got nothing after you've been locked up all of those years.
Right.
Whereas in the Bible, you leave with something so that what? You don't get locked up again.
That's right.
You don't get put in debt and have to be sold on to someone for 6 years again, man.
Right.
That's the point.
And like, if I may, just for the last time, you know, when our people was in slavery and the oppressor said it's going to free our people and let us go. And let us go with what? With nothing, man. You know, on the plantation, right? When they said slaves, you're free. Like, to go where and do what?
Yeah.
And with what? So once again, our people had to turn back to do what? Serve them again.
There you go. And in the Bible, the Lord prevents that.
Right.
He's saying, listen, don't make him go empty-handed or what? If he ain't got nothing, he's going to willingly come back to you and go, listen, I'll just work for you.
Right.
It's all I've known for 6 years and I ain't got nothing, man. You know what I mean? Which is so evil, and everyone knows that a lot of reasons why a crime exists is because of a poverty. A drug dealer doesn't do it because he likes it, because he's poor.
Right.
The whole thing is money. And you know, a bit of American history. Does anyone know how the American government stopped the mob or the mafia? Of course they exist, but I mean the majority of it, how did they wipe it out?
So like, if I may take a stab at it, pay them off.
You close, but for a time's sake, they gave them jobs. Those poor Italians that were joining this family, the such and such family, they gave them jobs. And that pretty much wiped out the mob, because they didn't need to go join no mob and shoot people and whack people, as I said.
Right.
They had jobs. That's why in America you got this bridge, a Brooklyn Bridge, a Queens Bridge. It was Italians that made it. They just gave them work to go, yo, listen, man, you lot be the engineers, make that bridge. And the Italians got rich off jobs. Right. And HGV driving. A lot of that is Italian owned. Right. And the government gave them those sectors, and that, for the most part, wiped out the mob. Right. Of course, they existed. You know what I mean? There's some people that they got rich off it, but for the young up and coming Italians, they didn't need to join any mob because there were jobs. Right. And that literally wiped out the mob and ended Italian poverty. Right. So that's it, man. So that's the class with that. I'm Adium. Over the hour. I preach almost that my a girl came up and I was, blazing that much. That being the rise of face east. Come right back.
Abinawa,
Bashmaya, Kadash, Aya, Shankar, Yahweh, Malakokar, Taba'a, Ratzaka, Aya, Asha, Baratazar, Kawa, Aya, Bashmaya, Tamnana, Lakam, Ka, Yawam, Basalakina, Kawabafina, Kasalakina, Kawabafina, Wala'a, Tabi'anawa, Manasaya one, above, Shina, Mayan, right, Kaya, Laka, Amalakwa, Waha'ala, Wahaparas, La'ulamyan, Aman.
And in the English, our Father,
which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors.
As we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into
Into temptation.
but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Forever. So be it.
And in the Hebrew, pray for the power, the Hakah, Yahweh, Baal Shem, Yahweh Shai, Baba Kashal, Athamna, Hakah, Larapa'ah, Kalmakala, Wakalma the Wa, Hakah, Lataha, Amatazarayim, Hakah, Lahakwiyam, Amafiyam, Hakah, Al-Rakawa, Atama Allah, Agarashun, Basham, Yahushai, the water Aman.
And in English, Yahweh.
In
the name of Yahushai. Please give us the power. The power to heal. All manner of sickness. All manner of disease. The power to cleanse the lepers. The power to raise the dead. The power against unclean spirits. To cast them out. In the name of Yahushai. Thank you. So be it.
And the blessings. Barakatah Yahweh. Wa Yahushai. Wa Me'aka Allah. Wa Halahayim. Wa Yaka. Batazab Ya'ah. Alawap Yahana. Ahalawapia. Asaranya. Akwatazayanya. Akayayalyam. Wa Akwafia. Yahweh. Wa Hashem. Yahushai. Wa Aman.
In English. Blessed are you, Yahweh.
And
Yahushai. And Michael. And the angels. Commanding General Yohana. The generals. The captains. The officers. The troopers. And the sisters. Yahweh. In the name of Yahushai. Thank you. So be it.
Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'a Ayanya. Al-Hariyam. Ma'ayan. Yaba'a. Isaiah. Ma'ayan. Yahweh. Shamayam. Wa'aratazah. Ayathan. Lamawat. Ragalka. Ayanawam. Shamaka. Anahala'a. Yanawam. Wala'a. Yayashan. Sharamah. Yasharala. Yahweh. Shamaka. Yahweh. Tazaka. Ayat. Yamyamka. Yawamam. Hashamash. Ayakayaka. Ayarok. Wayayala. Yahweh. Yashimaka. Makal Rai. Yashima. Afnapashka. Yahweh. Yashima. Tazaafka. Waba wa Aika. I will love.
Aman. And in the English. I will lift up my eyes unto the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from Yahweh. Who made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. So be it.
Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alayam. Alda Mayalaka.
Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace. And be not still, O Yahweh. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult. And they that hate thee, have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden one. They have said, Come, and let us cut them up from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent.
With one consent.
They are confederate against thee.
They are confederate against thee.
The tabernacles of Edom.
The tabernacles of Edom.
And the Ishmaelites.
And the Ishmaelites.
Of Moab.
Of Moab.
And the Hagarim.
And Hagarim.
Gabor.
Gabor.
And Ammon.
And Ammon.
And Amalek.
And Amalek.
The Philistines.
Philistines.
With the inhabitants of Tyre.
With the inhabitants of Tyre.
Asher also is joined with them.
Asher also is joined with them.
They have hope in the children of
They
love.
have hope in the children of love.
Selah.
Selah.
Do unto them.
Do unto them.
As unto the Midianites.
As unto the Midianites.
As to Sisera.
As to Sisera.
As to Jabin.
As to Jabin.
At the brook of Kison.
At the brook of Kison.
Which perished the Endor.
Which perished the Endor.
They became as dung for the earth.
They became as dung for the earth.
Make their nobles like Horeb.
Make their nobles like a rep.
And like Zayed.
And like Zayed.
Yea.
Yea.
All their princes as Zabah.
All their princes as Zabah.
And as Zalmunah.
And as Zalmunah.
Who said,
Let
us take to ourselves.
Let us take to ourselves
the houses of the Most High.
the houses of the Most High.
In possession.
In possession.
O my power.
O my power.
Make them like a wheel.
Make them like a wheel.
As the stubble before the wind.
As the stubble before the wind.
As the fire burning for wood.
As the fire burning for wood.
And as the flame.
And as the flame.
Setteth the mountains on fire.
Setteth the mountains on fire.
So persecute them.
So persecute them.
With thy tempest.
With thy tempest.
And make them afraid.
Make them afraid.
With thy storm.
With thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame.
Fill their faces with shame.
That they may seek thy name.
That they may seek thy name.
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh.
Let them be confounded.
Let them be confounded.
And troubled forever.
And troubled forever.
Yea.
Yea.
Let them be put to shame.
Let them be put to shame.
And perish.
And perish.
That men may know.
That men may know.
That thou.
Whose
Name alone.
name alone.
Is Yahweh.
Is Yahweh.
Are the Most High.
The Most High.
Over all the earth.
Over all the earth.
So be it.
So be it.
Alright, curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh.
Blessed are you, Yahweh.
King of heaven and earth.
King of heaven and earth.
And all things living.
And all things living.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh
In
Shai.
the name of Yahweh.
Listen to us now.
Listen to us now.
Right now.
Right now.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
And punishments and
And
destruction.
punishment and destruction.
To the
To
heathen.
the heathen.
That speak against
That
us.
speak against us.
By prophets.
By prophets.
The teacher.
The teacher.
The princes.
The princes.
The priests.
The priests.
The Israelite brothers.
The Israelite brothers.
And the school.
And the school.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
And punishments and destruction.
And punishment and destruction.
To the heathen.
To the heathen.
And shake loose.
And shake loose.
The treasure of the rich of Israel.
The treasure of the rich of Israel.
That refuse to give to the school.
That refuse to give to the school.
Force their riches.
Force their riches.
To enter into thy
To
sanctuary.
enter into thy sanctuary.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
And punishments and
And
destruction.
punishment and destruction.
To the Edomites.
To the Edomites.
And the nation.
And the nation.
And their drug
And
dealers.
their drug dealers.
The court system.
Court system.
The prison
The
system.
prison system.
Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood.
All the governments of our enemies.
All the governments of our enemies.
Amalek synagogues and armies.
Amalek synagogues and armies.
Roman Catholic Church.
Roman Catholic Church.
The Pope.
The Pope.
Islam.
Islam.
Christianity.
Christianity.
Egyptology.
Egyptology.
Militia.
Militia.
Ku Klux
Ku
Klan.
Klux Klan.
Aryan Nation.
Aryan Nation.
Skinheads.
Skinhead.
Pasikomatazi.
Kamikaze.
The gay
The
movement.
gay movement.
The lesbian
The
movement.
lesbian movement.
Spies.
Spies.
Workers of witchcraft.
Workers of witchcraft.
NASA space program.
NASA space program.
Army.
Army.
Navy.
Navy.
Air Force.
Air Force.
Marine.
Marine.
Wall Street.
Wall Street.
Open up the internet.
Open up the internet.
And the airwaves.
And the airwaves.
The cable access
The
channel.
cable access channel.
And the radio channel.
And the radio
And
channel.
convict the spirit
Convict the
of
spirit
any of thy people
of any of thy people
that seek to stop us.
that seek to stop us.
And bring swift destruction
And bring swift destruction
to all the heathen
all the heathen
that stand in the way
stand in the way.
or try to stop us
Try to stop us
from broadcasting your word
broadcasting your word
throughout the planet Earth.
throughout the planet Earth.
Let loose all the plague.
Let loose all the plague.
Cause them to go to and fro
Cause them to go to and fro
through the earth and consume
through
them.
the earth and consume them.
Let the plague shake
Let the plague shake
the house of the
the
thief
house of the thief
and the murderer.
and the murderer.
Let Yahweh shine.
Let Yahweh shine.
Michael and Gabriel
Michael and Gabriel
come down with the flying saucers
come down with the flying saucers
and punish all the heathen
punish all the heathen
that come up against
that
us
come up against
as
us
we speak thy
as
word.
we speak thy word.
Cause it to be known by all
Cause it to be known by all
that it is the angels that have done it.
that is the angels that have done it.
Cause it to be spread through the media
Cause it to be spread through the media
throughout the whole world.
throughout the whole world.
Cause them to shake at thy coming.
Cause them to shake thy coming.
In the name of Yahweh Shai,
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
thank you always.
Thank you always.
And so be it.
So be it.
And with that, Israel.
For the blessings, pray for the blessings. Yahweh,
Yahweh.
Hashem,
Hashem.
Yahweh Shai,
Shai.
Barak Lanawa,
Barak Lanawa.
Wayasharala,
Yahweh.
Bayat,
Wa'abayat,
Saparium,
Saparium,
Barak,
Barak,
Rapah,
Rapah,
Magan,
Magan. Now what you need to do in your mind, say all the loved ones, yeah?
Right.
Come on.
Right. Ba'Shem,
Ba'Shem,
Yahushai,
Yahushai,
Tawada Aman.
Tawada Aman. No, so you said
The bottom, right?
yeah, the bottom.
God, and what we said was, Lord, in the name of Jesus, bless us and Israel and the school, bless, heal, shield, protect our loved ones in the name of Jesus. Thank you. So be it.
And with that, that's Smith.